I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son, I am God's son. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son, I am God's son. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son, I am God's son. Be still my mind and think a moment upon this, and then return to earth without confusion as to what my Father loves forever and forever as a son. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son, I am God's son. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. Okay, well, thank you all so much for joining me today in studying A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version this year. This is lesson 219, which is a review of lesson 199, which is I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son. We're not bound to a body. That's not our identity. We can't die. Well, bodies die. But we're eternal. So we're more than the body. We're not the body. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son. I am as God created me. I'm God's son as God created me. Get that together. I am God's son as He created me and will be forevermore. We'll learn that in our text today. We can't change who we are, but we can change our purpose. And let's let it be for cheerfulness, for joy, for God, for happiness, for embracing everyone in love, for seeing the kingdom of heaven come to earth. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son. Be still, my mind, and think a moment upon this, and then return to earth without confusion as to what my Father loves forever as His son. So we're going to take a little time in that holy instant, in that 15 minutes twice today, or in those 1 hour, every hour remembrances and a little pause of reflection. At one of those moments, let's just enter into the holy instant and go into that place where there's no confusion. Be still, my mind, and think a moment upon this, that I am God's son. I am still as God created me. And then return to earth without confusion as to what my Father loves forever as His son. Okay. I'm Miracle Willie, forgiveness teacher from the Ozarks. It's Tuesday, August the 6th of 2024. And let's see, let's go back and take a look in our text reading today. It's not a real long reading, so I'll maybe have time to say a word or two as we read along. When Jesus has a lot to say to get through it in a year, I a lot of times just let Him do all the talking, and I don't do any talking at all. But whenever there's a little more time for me to talk, I like to share just a little bit to try and make it a little clearer to those who just don't quite get what it's saying. And we're in chapter 24, and we're ready for section 4, specialness versus sinlessness. Specialness versus sinlessness. Conflicting thoughts there. Sinlessness, and then sinfulness would be specialness. And, there's when you start seeing people as you respect their person, some people more valuable or less valuable than you or others, you then begin to bring in the idea that they're wrong for what they're doing. And that's that sinful mentality that we want to free our minds from. Jesus gave us a great example on how to do that when he was here physically, and now he's come back in this book and tried to help us to do it better now. Huh? Okay, well, let's see. Before we read this section, let's see what's going on around the world. Balloons to Heaven Day. That's basically a gun violence celebration, or would you say celebration or commemoration to those who have lost their lives in gun violence. Those folks got together and decided to start a holiday or a remembrance, a observance, Balloons to Heaven Day. Keep your guns locked up so they don't get used unless they're authorized. And anyway, it's also Hiroshima Day. Hiroshima was bombed on this day in 1945, and Nagasaki was bombed 3 days later. That changed everything on our planet. We now have a way to destroy all of ourselves fairly quickly. So, I even try to think of Balloons to Heaven as an honor of our honoring us, so that we don't kill ourselves with technology that's, able to do so. Anyway, Hiroshima Day. Corporate Baby Name Day. That's just a holiday. Someone said, I wonder if a corporation would like to name my baby if they gave me $500,000. I think that was the idea. I'm not sure exactly all the details. Farm Worker Appreciation Day. Of course, I hold a special thanks for anybody that likes to stay close to the ground and grow food, whether for themselves or for others. So, Farm Workers Appreciation Day. Thank you so much, all you farm workers. Fresh Breath Day. Okay. Gossip Day. Wouldn't recommend gossiping. If you want to say something uplifting about somebody, of course, that wouldn't be called a gossip, but that's what I would encourage you to do. Always see the good in people and say something good about them, even when they're in your presence or not in your presence. National Night Out. I guess time to take a night out. Take your girlfriend or your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, some friend, maybe out to have a picnic or something. National Night Out. Root Beer Float Day. I made some root beer one time. It was I was making it out of actually brewing, put herbs, sassafras and sarsaparilla and anyway a few different herbs together, and put some honey in with it and bottled them, and was going to let them. And actually, I fermented them a little bit, and then I put them in bottles to let them finish fermenting. Well, the bottles weren't strong enough, or the fermentation was too strong, and I've been gone for the weekend when me and my wife and my kids came home, and there was glass shards against the ceiling and all through the house where the jars had broken. Had been sitting on my refrigerator. I put a helmet on and a coat, and I went in there and got underneath that crate that had all those 30 or 24 bottles, whatever it was, and picked it up over my head and carried it out, and and then just let it lay for a while until they finished blowing up. Anyway, be aware if you make root beer floats or make root beer out of the old time way. Be sure to use don't get yourself hurt. I was okay, but and then Wiggle Your Toes Day. Day to wiggle your toes. I wear my sandals today. I don't know if it's just because of that, but makes it nice to wiggle your toes, huh? And then in edible landscaping, we have the Victoria Rhubarb. Let's see if I can get out my edible landscaping book. While I'm turning to it, our word for peace today is going to be how do you say it? Luxembourgeois? Luxembourgeois? or Luxembourgish, I heard it called, from Luxembourg. They're in Europe. And it's Fridden. So Fridden, peace be with you. Fridden be with you. Okay, and then out of edible landscaping, we've got the Victoria rhubarb, which is the Rheum rapenticum. Rapenticum is a species of the Victoria rhubarb. It says it's seed-grown. Seed-grown Victoria has large green leaf stalks, stained red, extremely heavy producer, spaced 2 to 3 foot circles. It is a perennial large-leafed plant, pretty in its season, good for borders or vegetable garden beds. In our area, which would be Virginia, it is good to cut seed stalks before it shoots up in early spring. This will give a larger spring harvest. Zones 3 through 9. Okay, anywhere here throughout the Americas, 3 through 9. Okay, I think we're ready. Let's go take one more thought about our lesson before we go on to our text. I am not a body, I am free. I am not a body, I am free. For I am still as God created me, or you could say, I am God's son. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son. I am forever as God created me. For I am still as God created me. No matter what the world says or you feel or your body looks like, you're eternal. You're not the body. You're free. I am still as God created me. I am God's son forever. I am God's son. Be still, my mind, and think a moment upon this, that you're God's son. And then return to earth without confusion as to what my Father loves forever as his son. Okay, now let's go take a look at specialness versus sinlessness. Specialness is a lack of trust in anyone except yourself. Specialness is a lack of trust in anyone except yourself. Faith is invested in yourself alone. Everything else becomes your enemy, feared and attacked, deadly and dangerous, hated and worthy only of destruction. Whatever gentleness it offers is but deception, but its hate is real. In danger of destruction it must kill, and you are drawn to it to kill it first. And such is guilt's attraction. Here is death enthroned as Savior. Crucifixion is now redemption, and salvation can only mean destruction of the world, except yourself. You're willing to use an atomic bomb to protect yourself, or whatever, a gun, something, but you've forgotten that you've thought of someone as less than yourself. You've thought of someone as different from yourself. You've had that idea of specialness that out of that unholy thought comes an unholy world. Specialness is lack of trust in anyone except yourself. Faith is invested in yourself alone. Everything else becomes your enemy, feared and attacked, deadly and dangerous, hated and worthy only of destruction. Whatever gentleness it offers is but deception, but its hate is real. If someone does something sweet to you, you can't even see it as sweet because you think they're just trying to win you over so they can stab you in the back. In danger of destruction, it must kill, and you are drawn to it to kill it first. And such is guilt's attraction. Here is death enthroned as Savior. Crucifixion is now redemption, and salvation can only mean destruction of the world except yourself. An upside-down world where salvation is destruction and destruction is salvation. Paragraph 2. That's the ego's upside-down way of looking at things. What could the purpose of the body be but specialness? And it is this that makes it frail and helpless in its own defense. It was conceived to make you frail and helpless. The goal of separation is its curse. Yet bodies have no goal. Purpose is of the mind, and minds can change as they desire. What they are and all their attributes they cannot change. But what they hold as purpose can be changed, and body states must shift accordingly. Of itself, the body can do nothing. See it as means to hurt, and it is hurt. See it as means to heal, and it is healed. Okay, there you go. There's whatever you do to yourself, you do to your brother, and whatever you do to your brother, you do to yourself. So let's have the desire, instead of to protect ourselves by hurting them, let's have the desire to protect ourselves by healing them, regardless of the form of their attack. And when I was starting, I said we're going to learn a little bit about that you can't change what you are, because that was established. You're a holy son of God. It's what he says. The goal of separation is its bodies have no goal. Purpose is of the mind. All minds can change as they desire. What they are and all their attributes they cannot change. So you can't change your attributes. You're always going to be a holy son of God, filled with all the unique qualities that you were created to uphold and uplift and extend. But you cannot know about them. And you can think something different. You can have a purpose that is completely in conflict with who you are. But you're still a holy son of God. Paragraph 3. You can but hurt yourself. This has been oft repeated, but is difficult to grasp as yet. It is but myself I crucify. We had a lesson just a few days ago, a review. Well, you can but hurt yourself. This has been oft repeated, but is difficult to grasp as yet. To minds intent on specialness, it is impossible. Yet to those who wish to heal and not attack, it is quite obvious. The purpose of attack is in the mind, and its effects are felt but where it is. Nor is the mind limited. So must it be that harmful purpose hurts the mind as one. Nothing could make less sense to specialness. Nothing could make more sense to miracles. For miracles are merely change of purpose from hurt to healing. Miracles are but simply, for miracles are merely change of purpose from hurt to healing. This shift in purpose does, in quotes, endanger specialness, but only in the sense that all illusions are, in quotes, threatened by the truth. They will not stand before it. Illusions won't stand before the truth. Yet what comfort has ever been in them, that you would keep the gift your Father asks from him and give it there instead. Given to him, the universe is yours. Offered to them, no gift can be returned. You want to give your allegiance, your value, your willingness to follow a thought. Don't let it be the willingness to follow the ego and its illusions of specialness. Let it be a willingness to follow the voice for God, who only leads to joy and to healing, not hurt. Given to him, the universe is yours. Offered to the ego or to them, no gifts can be returned. What you have given specialness has left you bankrupt, and your treasure house barren and empty, with an open door inviting everything that would disturb your peace to enter and destroy. Paragraph 4. Earlier I said, consider not the means by which salvation is attained, nor how to reach it. But do consider, and consider well, whether it is your wish that you might see your brother sinless. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to know how you're going to get to salvation. Just be willing to turn over your guidance to the Holy Spirit. So he says, earlier I said, consider not the means by which salvation is attained, nor how to reach it. Just a little willingness is all that's needed. But do consider, and consider well, whether it is your wish that you might see your brother sinless. Do you want to see your brother sinless? To specialness, the answer must be no. No, I don't want to see my brother sinless if you're looking at specialness through the ego eyes. A sinless brother is its enemy, while sin, if it were possible, would be its friend. Your brother's sin would justify itself, and give it meaning that the truth denies. All that is real proclaims his sinlessness. All that is real proclaims your brother's sinlessness. All that is false proclaims his sins as real. If he is sinful, then is your reality not real. If your brother's sinful, then your reality is not real, but just a dream of specialness that lasts an instant, crumbling into dust. You think of your body as yourself, and that you've got to protect yourself from all your sinful, you wouldn't even call them brothers and sisters, but your sinful people around you. You don't see them as yourself, your manifestation of yourself, God in flesh, your holiness. Instead, you end up dying and turning back into dust, thinking that was you. Okay, and the last paragraph to finish this section, paragraph 5. Do not defend the senseless dream in which God is bereft of what he loves and you remain beyond salvation. Only this is certain in this shifting world that has no meaning in reality. Only this is certain in this shifting world that has no meaning in reality. When peace is not with you entirely, and when you suffer pain of any kind, you have beheld some sin within your brother, and have rejoiced at what you thought was there. And that rejoice is kind of used in kind of a negative way. Usually we use the word rejoice like we're lifting up into heaven, but this is we're rejoicing at seeing sin in our brother, which we don't want to do. That's the ego's rejoicing. So again on that sentence, only this is certain in this shifting world that has no meaning in reality. When peace is not with you entirely, hopefully we've learned at least to watch for our peace. And see, when we're not at peace, we know it's time to be still and quiet and ask for help. Do your lesson for the day. When peace is not with you entirely, don't sell yourself short on this. Be sure to be noticing, are you really truly at peace, or is it just an imagination dismissing a lot of what's going on? Let's don't be unconscious. Let's be real. When peace is not with you entirely, and when you suffer pain of any kind, you have beheld some sin within your brother, and have rejoiced at what you thought was there. And we'll include that in our song here at the end, I think. Your specialness seems safe because of it. Your specialness seems safe because of it, because of this sin you saw. And thus you saved what you appointed to be your Savior, and crucified the one whom God has given you instead. So are you bound with him, for you are one. And so is specialness his enemy, and yours as well. So when you think you see sin in your brother, remember, you're actually seeing specialness, and you're actually crucifying that which God wanted to free you. Okay, well, be sure to do your 2 15-minute practice periods today. And every hour of the day, give thanks to God. And tell yourself, I'm not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's son, I am God's son. I'm a body, I am free. I am God's son, I am God's son. Be still my mind and think a moment upon this, and then return to earth without confusion, as to what my Father loves forever as his son. I am not a body, Son. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's Son, I am God's Son. Be still my mind and think a moment upon this. Be still my mind and think a moment upon this. And then return to earth without confusion, as to what my Father loves forever and forever as His Son. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's Son, I am God's Son. And then I said we were going to sing that little portion out of the text that I want us to be sure to get. Only this is certain in the shifting world that has no meaning in reality. When peace is not with you entirely, and when you suffer pain of any kind, you have beheld some sin within your brother, and have rejoiced at what you thought was there again. Only this is certain in the shifting world that has no meaning in reality. When peace is not with you entirely, and when you suffer pain of any kind, you have beheld some sin within your brother, and have rejoiced at what you thought was there. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's Son, I am God's Son. Be still my mind and think a moment upon this, and then return to earth without confusion, as to what my Father loves forever and forever as His Son. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's Son, I am God's Son. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's Son, I am God's Son. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I am not a body, I am free. I am God's Son, I am God's Son. Okay, well, let's remember that I'm not a body, I am free, for I'm still as God created me. I am God's Son. And our word for peace is Fridden, Fridden, out of Luxembourgish or Luxembourgeois. Okay, well, until tomorrow, be sure to do your 2 15-minute practice periods, morning and evening, if you've been from lesson 1 with me. If not, at least do 5 minutes. And I am as God created me. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I am God's Son. Fridden.